The Neo Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.
Today's edition of Neo Reality Collective is brought to you by Anchor.fm, a free distribution service podcasting hosting platform that allows you to record your podcast on your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so much more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor.fm app or go to Anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Massively late to this party, aren't I? Yeah. So, back again with Neo Reality Collective reviews, and now we are going to dive into Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Eve of Judgment. This is part of the prelude, basically it's the second, maybe third prologue to the event comic Judgment Day, also known as A.X.E Judgment Day, also known as Avengers vs. Eternals vs. X-Men Judgment Day. Basically, hijinks ensue all around. Let's add a third faction into the superhero fighting genre. So, yeah. The Eternals have decreed, it's a bit more complicated than that. So, Eternals seceded some Eternals such as Icarus, Circe, and other characters after knowing the dark truth of their society, how it's been basically killing its own the people they're supposed to protect, sort of, and in their reincarnation. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure some people are going to be upset about that when that eventually comes out. And certain characters like Dirge or whatever his name is, I keep losing track of that. I keep trying to pronounce it, but I think I mispronounce it every time. Has been saying, okay, we need to unify our society. So, okay, what's the most amount of place with correct excess deviation, and one of them was where the deviants live, and the other is where the mutants live, Krakoa. And the machine tells them, oh, by the way, they also conquered Mars and terraformed it. So they were like, ooh, that is correct excess deviation. Yes, let's get a commit mass genocide. Wait. So, yeah. Not only that, but they've learned the secret to mutant resurrection. And at the Hellfire Gala, after Warren McTaggart tried to fail to convince her son to join me, and together we could destroy the mutants as mother and son. And that failed miserably. And also Spider-Man got into a fight, so I had to witness Spider-Man get into a fight with Emma Frost, and we were just and I was just smiling the whole while, thinking to myself, there's no announcement here that's on the level of Mars. 0 out of 10. Because, let's be real, they always spoiled the surprise with the whole immortality the day prior. So, yeah. And there was an attempted murder, and hijinks ensued after that, and then Wolverine disappeared, and then all of a sudden he was shown up again when Emma Frost got covered in goat blood, sheep's blood, or whatever. So, yeah, that was a bad day for everyone involved, and very awkward. So, yeah, that was the day. Anyways, so Moira McTaggart, after realizing her plan to convert her son to the dark side has failed, because she's been a terrible mother, apparently. I honestly don't know. I was not reading the comics when Moira McTaggart was raising the son, Proteus, or whatever. Yeah. So, she decides to tell Dirge and the Eternals who have not defected from the society, say, okay, so here are the 5 people you need to kill to cut off the head of the snake, so here you go. So, after she most likely had murdered Mary Jane, though considering Mary Jane has been announced for other titles, she's not dead, so either Wolverine and Spider-Man went and saved her in time, or Mormatagra didn't do it. Even if she has blood drenched on her hands. Yep. So yeah. So we're on the eve of Judgment, and, well, let me just get this out of the way. The artwork is a lot to be desired, in my opinion. I'll just say that. The writing's good, but the artwork leaves me a lot for desire. So, yeah, I don't know how to feel about the artwork. When you've read the issue, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, the artwork's just like everyone has very samey faces, and sometimes it looks exaggerated in its proportions. But, yeah. But let's take our little brief break and cut right back. We'll be right back with A.X.E, Judgment Day, Eve of Judgment #1 by Kieron Gillen, and then we'll see how this whole thing begins and how insanity ensues. Take care. Alright everyone, let's dig right into Avengers X-Men Eternals Eve of Judgment #1 and see what goes on in this. Hello again, I am the machine that is Earth. Wow, the machine of the Earth is very nice. I'm happy and only slightly surprised. Nice to report that all is coming well. Well, according to the laws of the Marvel Universe, that's illegal. Spider-Man needs to go ahead and commit a mass crime to go ahead and, knock him off his high horse when he's even so much as remotely happy. Oh, Joe Quesada's probably pissed. Humans are not being disintegrated by beams of light from the uncaring heavens. They are not torn asunder by ancient predators. Oh, don't worry. That already happened last time, so, yeah. They hold hands, do the dishes, take part in sedentary pastimes. See? You can tell it's quiet as even the Avengers are relaxing. Tony Stark is proud of the breakfast he's made, fresh from his Iron Waffle 3000. Carol thinks Tony overdone them a bit, but has decided not to mention it. Tony could do with a break, even if it means being kind about his seared waffles. I mean, Carol beat him into a coma, then he died, and then came back as a hologram for a while, then came back again as a human, then was back again as a clone, and yeah, you see how confusing that Civil War II in the end was? And bad. Meanwhile, at the island of Krakoa, the growing world and galactic power of the mutants, I admire them a lot. They were smart enough to find their nation in a lovely climate. They're not even worried about the seas rising because their island home is sentient and can move. Yeah, that is something. Oh, what a lovely day for everyone. Oh, I'm sure we're gonna get the antagonist moment on this. Meanwhile, at Olympia, the capital of the Eternals, concealed in an echo dimension in Greece. It's even a lovely day for Dirge, the snake of the Eternals. He's crawled his way to the very top. He's Eternal Prime. His wildest dream came true at last. Perhaps now his awful ambition will be sated? Yes, other small men on big trophies have been driven to paranoia from the insecurity. Perhaps Drug can overcome that and finally just be happy. Come on, Drug. The machine that is Earth is rooting for you. So, Dirge is currently not happy. He's currently pacing around, going ahead and contacting his friend, Domo, old friend. If you were me, how would you kill all the mutants? Oh, it's gonna be what even the machine says, oh. Basically realizing, oh great, Dirge is gonna have another genocide act on his hands, got it. Domo doesn't even question. His pure science leaves no room for ethics. Well, there's Mr. Sinister, but he's a Nazi. He was a former Nazi. Why, pray me, Tunnel, I have just the thing. An antimatter size bomb for a prodigious size. So simple. That's wonder of it. Generalized technology. It could have been sent by anyone. We drop it through the node beneath the island, activated, and the mutant problem on Earth is gone. Yes, yeah, anyways. So how long do you think it's going to end until it all goes badly? The ones on Mars won't know who did. We've cauterized the heart of the experiment. And if they don't implode into civil war, you can deal with them down the line. Domo, you little schemer. I'm impressed. That's the sort of idea I would have had. Prepare it swiftly. I want to annihilate the mutants in time for evening drinks. He pats the scientist on the back, even if he doesn't like it, seems. So, yeah, Dirge is kind of an idiot. Eternals. A long, long time ago, alien space gods came to Earth. I mean, like, this is the Marvel Universe. Even the DC Universe has had alien space gods came to Earth. They made 100 Eternals. And then it got confusing. They made 100 deviants. They left. The Eternals have completed their purpose. They're at a loose end. But some have decided to leave their corrupt society. Others have decided to scour another species. It takes all sorts. Societies. The, society, aka known as the "Oh my god, will everyone please shut up." So, yeah, we have the Society of Olympia, those who are loyal to the Prime Eternal, the Independent, and also the loyal to the highest bidder, which is the Jack of Knives. Writer Kieron Gillen, along with artist, I can't pronounce that name, I tried, I'm sorry everyone, but colorist artist Dean White. Their designer VC's CLAYTON COWLES. And we get the whole listing of who's independent, who's broken off, and all the other societies from the data pages, because we had to borrow something from Hickman and Tom Muller. But now I think about, why isn't he not involved in the data pages? Okay. So anyways, we have Lumia, hidden in the shadow dimension at the bottom of the sea, recovering from an attack by Thanos and the Eternals. Yeah, Thanos was an Eternal for a time. That was a day. Yeah, let's just go with that. That was a day. The Eternals have 3 principles. Protect Celestials, protect the machine, correct excess deviation. They are no more capable of resisting than you would be able to will your heart to stop beating. Hey, I know this power well. Not really. Actually, you would have to, yeah. And you'll have noticed there is a significant room for interpretation. And hereby hangs all eternal tales. These Eternals have left their society after they learn the truth, that when they die, I extinguish a mortal life to return them to life. This is unbearable for Icarus. He takes to protect the machine to include protecting humans. He has realized his very existence is a danger. This is an impossible contradiction. He has to change. But those are 2 principles. There is also the 3rd. Correct excess deviation. You! Enough! Eternals did this, and we still accept you among us? Crow is wrong. And even if they stop that today, that bloody history it has wrought is inescapable. There is no place for you in this city of mourning. Yes, he then punches Icarus, who is basically Superman, but, with blonde hair and... Not really, he's actually a very complicated character. Like, extremely complicated. Like, there was that time he was Prime Eternal, then he wasn't, and then he got his own movie, and, well, the movie for many people say it wasn't as good as it should have been, and thought it should have been a series. Anyways, the person that attacked him is called Crimson Carlo. Is a mutie, an enhanced deviant. Her gifts honed into monstrous power. Muties have been fighting Eternals for 1,000,000 years. Yes, and 1,000,001 will just be the year that we finally end this. However, fighting doesn't mean beating. So Icarus goes ahead and beats the crap out of the deviant, and it looks like he's got a laser her. Yeah, it's a her. And then says, "No, Cersei, quickly, drop her." Is this meant to prove anything? Oh, it shows that you Eternals could have done this at any time, and you didn't. You never do. Part of Icarus wants to make excuses that when true excess deviation happens, they have no control. But he also knows he has killed many deviants in war who were not excess deviants. You're correct. We will be better. I reject everything of my people. We have much to make amends for. To all the mortals of Earth. Icarus wants to say more and doesn't. Icarus the arrow is a straight shooter. Cersei feels regret for being the wind that has blown him off course. She has tricked him into believing he must keep the secret. She knows the Eternals would be hated if the truth was known. Oh, don't worry, the mutants already have that covered. And she knows what rash action and knowledge could prompt among the best of them. She knows what it did to Phantos and where he ended up. Meanwhile, at the exclusion, and Phantos the Smith is still in exclusion. It is unjust for his sins. He doesn't deserve to be here. So, I got a question. Does the machine have a say in this? Like, if the machine is a narrator, which, okay, it's like multiple questions on that front. Man, I was like, why can't the Earth like be bear witness testimony in the Eternals courtroom, so to speak? And I use that quote in quotations. So yeah, you would think the machine would say, no, the mutants are good people, don't kill them. And then the Eternals would have no choice but to listen, or else the machine will give them a massive migraine that will be unending until they stop it. Okay. In that, he isn't alone. Take into Excluded E, for example. Oh, an architect of omni-genocide down the corridor, Excluded E. E is kept not for what he has done, but what he could be used to do. In reality, he is kept because he has fallen into the Eternals' arms for the first time, and so they're loath to let him go. He is a matter of scientific curiosity. I dare say I can make you curious too. Go back to the list of Eternals I showed earlier. Remember that Celestials created 100 Eternals a million years ago? The Delphinium brothers count as 2, long story, so counting them as 2, why are 101 on the list? We'll return to that another time. And now, what to do about you? Ooh, Phantos. Those you and your friends hiding in Lumia? Just because you're so upset about the quirk in Resurrection, a distraction for your purpose. That would be better deleted, I think. It is not a distraction. Every time we die, one of the humans die. How can we bear that? The servant feels for the smith. How awful must it be for those who suffer the pangs of conscience? You can't. That's why we should mind-wipe you and get you back to work. But we've had a request from Akira and Jack. Phantos, friend, join us. We have work of great spiritual significance. Don't make a deal with drugs for this. Don't be silly, this is a tardy deal. This is a sort of benevolent leadership. It's exactly what you should get used to. I take matters of faith intensely seriously. You are a creature with no fate. Fate in your heart. You barely have a heart in your chest, but your populist gesture is appreciated. Ah, so he's, flamboyant Palpatine? In fact, now that I think about it, that makes more sense. Dirge's game is a simple one. He could mind-wipe Phantos, but his friends are free and they just tell him. Dirge can gain some political capital by helping the priests until he can mind-wipe them all. Until then, what's the worst thing a bunch of priests can do? Meanwhile, at Celestia, moments later, you would make a god? Oh, god damn it, sir. We're building gods now. I knew this day would come. We're really doing this, everyone. And these plans are audacious. The sense taught you so much. But there's a wide variety of technical problems. I simply don't know how to solve that. That means you would have to kidnap this mutant expert? Really? The Krakoans are not timid. They would be terrible enemies. Even if you do get everything, as much as uncertain, even with your creativity, you cannot guarantee this god will be to your liking. No. I'm sorry, without a far better reason than we have, I cannot assist you in this. But you already have Phantos. You've said it could work. The expert eye of Phantos is all we really needed. We are people of faith, but you are a man of practicality. Thank you. No, Listen to the one who has walked this path. It is not worth it. I tried to stop the great machine itself, to end the deaths of humankind. I discovered it was impossible, and humans died because of my attempts to save them. I will be repaying that debt for as long as I exist. I considered even punishing myself. I thought of not purging the pain track back of Thanos' tortures from my mind. I realized that such masochism helps no one. It's only distracting me from the work who can act with a head full of such trauma. This has broken my heart and changed my future. What you plan has far greater risks. Do not play so lightly with your souls, friends. They then look at each other and say, thoughts? Well, luckily we did introduce our guest. Ah, yeah, they're the ones that kidnapped Sinister. Don't worry, the Krakoans are not going to be really pissed about this. They're more like, okay, if you have him and have him in suspended animation, can we go ahead and take him back and then dump him into the pit? Because that would be so far much better. I imagine Phantos blames herself for Thanos coming here just to find him, but she is working too hard. Oh, Crow, he has always been like this. People think that being Celestial Smith is his power. Working too hard is his power. He knows the price you all paid to show us friendship when we needed it most. He will not forget. Theda knows that Phantos could be made to forget, and buries it for now. She thinks deeply when she chooses, and now she hasn't the time for that anguish. Still, he may be eternal, but he is new. This is Lumia. Yes, rebuilding after a disaster is one thing, but when everything is put back into place, we are still deviants, and you are the Eternals. Your Talu may be gone, but his work remains. Talu would like to be like being remembered. I think the work speaks of the awfulness of our people. It does. Thanos thought of the destruction as critique, but he is a collaborator. Talu's piece spoke to what he felt is the best of us, and the sadness in there can only be temporary. Thanos only underlined Talu's point, and his monstrous spirit made clear the monstrousness as of the Eternals. He is absolutely one of us. People will look upon the statue and know not just the pretty surface of us Eternals, but what lies within. It speaks of what it is to be deviant in a world of Eternals. You remind me why it is so easy to fall in love with you, Thea of Olympia. I am mourning, as should the Lord of the Deviants be in this time of horror. You seek distractions. Talking of which, you and Cersei, are you pursuing it? Please, Cersei would eat me alive. Hello, Crow. Oh, I didn't say I wouldn't like being eaten alive. I mean, have you met Bryan Danielson? Let's be real. Oh, you would, but I am sorry for all this. We learned a lot. When Ajak talked to the Celestial Ghost, we secured their plans for the Deviants. We will work on a cure or a treatment, and you also now know the truth. The Deviants are the midwives of all that is wondrous in this world. How are you going to tell your people? It's tricky. If I give us too much pride, people may demand war. There are extremists among us who would overcompensate. Still, our worst actions have mainly been born of feeling ashamed compared to you. Perhaps if we learn to love ourselves as we are, we wouldn't do such things. Midwife of all that is wondrous on the earth. We were the important ones all along. Well, I don't feel blessed. Still mocking yourself. Less than you think. The Deviants are trapped as people. Individually we are free. We are mortals and get that luxury. You're who I am sorry for, Eternal. I can imagine a world where a curse is cured. I can imagine one where you are free. We'll see. Perhaps we really can learn from you mortals. Be careful what you wish for. Learn everything from a mortal, and I suspect you end up as mortal. Do you want to die? Not particularly. But it would be just delightful to find a new way to live life. Very healthy, very alive, full of vim and vigor. Can we do something about that? So Dirge is currently watching Krakoa Network, and he's like, oh, this is so boring. Just finishing the Duchess, Prime Eternal. Why are we annihilating a subspecies today, Prime Eternal? Domo doesn't care, but his scientific curiosity includes political science. The deviants have acted as some kind of genetic carrier for most of the strange on Earth. Their genes are everywhere. So does that mean you're gonna kill Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four? I mean, like, I know they haven't been doing as much damage as Reed Richards was doing back in the olden days, but still. However, they've particularly focused in these mutant sorts. They're deviants by another name, correct excess deviation. The mutants are on Mars. They're immortal. That's excess deviation from me. This is all true, and what he says, he will say in his speeches. But he really knows he needs a way to bind people behind him. He's not a great man, but he also knows great men are made by great deeds. A throne made of so many mutant bones could last 1,000,000 years. They all die, and during the merciless upholder of the principle in a fallen age is born. So, death to the mutants it is. Now, it's late, but I know a great diner in Vancouver, fantastic eggs, just divine. Join me. Let's toast destruction with a toasted muffin and protect the machine, protect the machine, protect the machine. And their eyes and ears start gushing out blood. Recover the bulb quickly. Of course, I'm not an idiot. You, and they bring it back into their lair. Quickly, turn it off. And they turn it off. Anti-matter bomb designation spiral cancelled. What happened? That should have triggered the principles. The island itself, Krakoa, it's a sentient being of an unusual type. I think it is part of the machine in a fundamental way. We cannot simply annihilate its every molecule. Domo is clever, and in this case, correct. It's a long story. Krakoa is a nice guy, so why don't you speak to Dirge the Merciless and tell him, hey, could you not kill the mutants? They're cool. Well, I guess we're going to have to skip the celebratory breakfast. I really did have my heart set on eggs. I'm sorry for this disappointment, my liege. Shall I start working on another method? No, not yet. You tried, I should have known. If I was looking to commit a genocide, I should have gone straight to the expert. Uranos, grandfather, I have a proposition. Oh, Drudge, little Drudge, not even 1,000 years on the throne, and already so desperate. And thus the comic ends, to be continued in Avengers X-Men Eternals, Judgment Day #1. And we get our checklist. It's a complicated one, but yeah. That's the end of it, and we will be seeing the next issue very soon. The X-Men claim they're the planet's new gods. The Eternals knows that position is already filled. The Avengers are about to realize how many secrets their so-called friends have kept from them. Years of tension lead to a volcanic eruption as two worlds burn. Who has leaked the X-Men secrets to their latest foes? Why is Tony Stark adopting an old friend? And who stands in judgment over the whole world? Foreshadowing! So, yeah, like I said, the artwork is a lot to be desired, I feel. Like, I don't know why. It just bugs me a little bit by the way everyone looks kind of samey in some ways. Like, there are some differences, but yeah, it does look kind of samey. In fact, I'm gonna be honest, I think the characters look better from far away distance shots in the artwork. Like, Magic and Nightcrawler look like Magic and Nightcrawler, and there are differences to them, whereas Dirge and Domo kind of look samey, just with different subtle features that make you know they're still them, but you get this samey vibe from it. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, the Eternals have broken off. The Eternals are preparing to wage war, and Uranos seems to be ready to come back out and raise hell, like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Don't worry, he's gonna miss a couple people. Yeah, that's gonna end badly. And the priests of the Eternals are planning to create a god, because that doesn't say anything disastrous. So we'll have to see where that comes out when I finally get around to reviewing issue 1 of Judgment Day, and maybe some of the tie-ins. I know I'm gonna have to talk about Immortal X-Men tie-ins since I am covering the series bit by bit. But yeah, that's about it for today. We'll be back Back next time to talk about Judgment Day eventually, hopefully, and not have any delays. But we'll have to see. I also gotta talk about House of the Dragon, so let's stay tuned for this last ad break and outro, and we'll see you all again next time. Take care and have a good day, everybody. This is Eric Brown, host of Neo Reality Collective, signing out.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.